Ryan Clark entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent and exited as a Super Bowl champion, successfully transitioning into one of ESPN's sharpest and most recognizable analysts. That high-profile career hit a total blackout when reports surfaced that he was let go right in the middle of broadcasting the network's flagship program, NFL Live. High-level television layoffs typically follow a predictable script: a quiet phone call on a Friday afternoon, followed by an immediate, low-key exit. Interrupting a live broadcast to terminate an anchor is a massive departure from industry protocol. Corporate leadership cited a need for cost-cutting and a desire to beat press leaks. However, because standard network budget cuts are handled behind closed doors rather than during commercial breaks, industry veterans view the timing as a deliberate choice rather than an economic necessity. Getting fired mid-show serves a purpose beyond ending a contract. It is a public message from executives, signaling a deep-seated frustration with the talent and a desire to make the exit as visible as possible. To understand why a star analyst would be ousted so publicly, we have to look at the macro corporate reality currently facing ESPN and traditional cable networks. This graph shows subscriber revenue plummeting as millions abandon traditional cable for streaming. Simultaneously, live sports broadcasting costs are soaring. These intersecting lines create a financial trap, leaving networks with shrinking margins and a desperate need to reduce overhead. In this environment, high-earning on-air talent are often the first targets for the chopping block, as their salaries represent the largest discretionary expenses on the books. This creates a survival crisis for the middle class of sports media, analysts who lack the untouchable status of a megastar but command salaries far above entry-level reporters. Many in this middle tier maintain their spots by leaning into a polarizing, aggressive style, manufacturing the viral clips and social media engagement that networks use to justify their presence. While this strategy successfully generates clicks, it also turns the analyst into a volatile asset, one that executives are increasingly unwilling to tolerate once the budget for personality starts to dry up. Eventually, the friction created by a polarizing persona moves from the executive offices directly onto the live set. Disney and ESPN maintain a strict daytime standard. Broadcasts must remain inclusive, cooperative, and friendly to sponsors who are paying for a positive association with the game. That atmosphere evaporated during an exchange with host Mike Greenberg. The lighthearted tone expected of the segment was replaced by a visible, uncomfortable tension. Clark's rigid posture and aggressive tone derailed the flow of the show. He turned a routine sports debate into a moments-long confrontation that felt uncomfortably personal for a midday broadcast. This intensity impacted co-hosts like Peter Schrager, revealing how a confrontational style can alienate the colleagues who are essential for maintaining a high-quality, team-oriented production. While a segment like this might trend on social media, the network executives watching see it as a liability, a direct threat to the family-friendly environment they are paid to maintain. A middle-class analyst can only survive on engagement for so long before the friction they create becomes more expensive than the revenue they generate. As his contract neared its end, Clark began publicly demanding a higher valuation, while simultaneously highlighting the success of his independent media projects. From the perspective of the boardroom, Clark transitioned from a loyal asset into an expensive headache who was using his network platform to build a competing business. The mid-show termination allowed the network to cut a significant salary while sending an unmistakable warning shot to the rest of the staff about the risks of public posturing. The move signaled that mid-tier talent is disposable and that true job security is reserved exclusively for ratings giants like Stephen A. Smith. In the modern media landscape, network loyalty has been replaced by cold economics. Executives hold the hammer, and they will use it to maintain control over their remaining talent. Despite the network's attempt to use the firing as a display of power, the shifting media landscape suggests that Clark may have come out ahead. The traits that made him a liability for a sponsor-safe network, raw friction and polarizing opinions, are the primary drivers of growth in the world of independent media. In the creator economy, talent can bypass the traditional gatekeepers to monetize their audience directly, turning controversy into a sustainable revenue stream. ESPN achieved its goal of a short-term budget cut, but Clark exited the building finding his personal brand was now unchained from corporate oversight. The mid-show execution highlights the growing irrelevance of the traditional network seat, proving that losing a corporate job can be the catalyst for a more profitable and autonomous career in the digital age.